what are the responsibilities that come with it. It's a matter of time. It's likely to happen, it's a matter of time. So, with these opening remarks, I don't want to take too much time. I would like to introduce and call upon stage my very esteemed and very illustrious panel members. I would like to say that this panel has been chosen with great deal of care and effort by the organizers. The months of preparation have gone in to put together this panel so that it represents not only the Indian context, but also the international context. Ultimately, if you want to be a GC, don't just be an Indian GC. You have to become a global GC at some point in time. And after GC, would you want to go into an operational role? Would you want to become a chief executive? Well, time will tell, and your own abilities will determine that. Okay. May I first invite on stage Laura Susi Gamba, Global General Counsel, Vice President Legal, Power Plants, Wärtsilä Corporation, Finland. I would like to next call on stage another charming lady, Shibani Sethi, the Group General Counsel of G4S PLC, India. Shibani. As Badri said, he's our guru. I now invite Mr. M.K. Sharma, the former Vice Chairman, Hindustan Unilever, and the General Counsel of Hindustan Lever. May I now call on stage Thomas Topil, Vice President and Deputy General Counsel, APAC and Japan, Hewlett-Packard, based in Singapore. And with great pleasure, I invite on stage Anubhav Kapoor. Anubhav Kapoor is the Global General Counsel and Company Secretary, Tata Technologies, based in the US. Okay, the format that we are going to follow in this panel discussion is each panelist will come before you here and make a presentation for about 5 minutes on the theme of the panel discussion. After all the panelists have concluded their individual presentations, we will then have discussions on a few topics and few questions. I encourage you and urge you to please make note of your questions that come to your mind during their presentation and ask them whenever we give you the opportunity to have a Q&A session. It's extremely important that you make the best use of the presence of these people. This kind of opportunity is not going to easily come all over again. So particularly those who are young in-house counsel, who are looking for a bright future, please address your questions to them and get clarified. Thank you. It would be my great pleasure to invite Laura to please come and make her presentation. Laura?
Thank you. I'm much honored to be here today. I would like to just give you the context where I'm coming from addressing certain aspects here. Wärtsilä is Finland-based, listed on the Helsinki Stock Exchange. We have 3 businesses, the marine business, the power plants business, and our services business. We have global operations, presence in 70 countries, close to 18,000 employees. The power plant business, where I work, delivers 60 to 100 power plants per year, depending on the size of the projects. And we have globally delivered power plants to 169 countries. It's very complex business, and of course puts a lot of pressure also on the legal counsel to come up with solutions. My journey started already a startling 29 years ago. I first worked for a long time as an attorney in different jurisdictions, and that came with certain challenges as well. But the biggest turning point in my career was when I went in-house in 1998. When I was in a law firm, I used to think how easy in-house counsel seemed to have it. They are the king when working with law firms. They set the terms, they set the deadlines. Little did I know of the reality. Here are the biggest differences in my view, and here I'm simplifying. I'm conscious that we also have attorneys amongst us. But in a law firm, you become a true expert in a specific field. You have the ultimate drive for perfection and expertise. Your legal skills really count for most of your performance. And you can always qualify your advice to the client. Well, this is what I don't know, so my advice to you is limited. Of course, I know that savvy attorneys don't do this, but as in-house counsel, you are a true generalist. You have to move fast. You've got to get the troops aligned. And you've got to accept that you cannot always do as good a job as you are capable of. This has been a very difficult thing for me to also accept. And you must act on very little information very often. And I stress the word must, because you must take a stand. And then you will live with the consequences of your decisions. Much of my work today has to do with organizational leadership issues, coaching, mentoring. I have a team of 16 lawyers. It is a truly virtual team. We are present in 9 locations. We have 9 nationalities. Our chief counsel for India, Ravi Tilaka, is also amongst us here. And indeed, our presence ranges from Houston, Texas to Singapore. One strategic decision that I made early on when I was putting together the team was that legal was going to be present, physically present in the locations where most of the business is transacted. So we go to negotiations, we are there for the business, and we have become very integrated into the business process. It's easier for our business peers to engage a lawyer, and also the lawyers find it satisfying that they know very early on what is ongoing, and they can also try to steer the discussion towards the sort of like legally acceptable paths. But it also comes with a challenge. How do I create a togetherness within our team? Because after all, we are also a team. We need each other. We have a purpose. And this is important. The solid reporting line is only to me. And that is how we can also maintain a certain independence amongst the challenges of the business world. My challenges in the near future, it's of course talent retention. We have high performance in the team who of course are asking what's next. And also how to show legal's value in very concrete terms. Our work is pretty invisible at best. And then also with limited resources, are we focusing as legal on the right things? Where do we really truly add value? And if I just try to summarize the key qualifications for an in-house counsel, it's of course being the trusted advisor to the business. So earn the trust, but also do remember to act accordingly. How many of us have always thought occasionally, well, what did I say when things would go wrong? But that should never be said. And of course, be inclusive in the sense that you use the words we, not you. It just helps. Little things sometimes count. And also listen to the business. They have a story to tell. Talk simple. Forget the legal jargon. Speak the language of your partner. I think that's where we could also improve. And provide solutions. Don't hide behind the rule book. And then, of course, attitude is very important. And as someone has said, you don't hire for skills, you hire for attitude. And as the in-house counsel also, because this is what I at least found when I went in-house, no one told me about this, that you've got to also accept the fact that you are going to be a generalist. And the difficult situations are when you really are stretching the boundaries where it is that you can say this is.
Thank you, Laura. May I now request Anubhav to please make his presentation. Anubhav?
Thank you, Pras, and good morning, my friends and colleagues. It's an honor to be here before you and sharing some of my thoughts. And first of all, it's a privilege to be sharing the panel with MK, and he is one of the role models I had admired during my growing days, right? So we used, when I got the first aha moment that the GC is about business and not law, right? The first person I idolized was MK, right? Because he had risen from a legal department to head a business unit, right? So, and he was among us. So I'm very privileged, sir, to be with you today morning. With that, I just reflect back in terms of what the GC stands for, and then as a reflection back, I kind of reflect upon 3-4 things in terms of how my journey has been in terms of GC and what basically this meant for us over a period of time of 20-21 years of my career as an in-house counsel. And the choice between practice and GC was not very significant for me, because I frankly, life has been a roller coaster so far. I don't know how many of you know, but I was a chef. That's how I started my career, right? And I did my full hotel management and kind of worked in a hotel industry as a chef for 3-4 years, and until my mother called me one day and said, "Boss, Kapooroo mein yaar bawarchi nahi hote hain." And that time, fortunately, Sanjeev Kapoor was not there, right? So I could not idealize. And he said, "अगर तुम भी खाना बनाते हो और मैं भी खाना बनाती हूँ, तो शायद मैं तुम्हारे लिए लड़की ना ढूंढ पाऊँ." And that was a very big threat for me, right? Because my family was all about arranged marriages and all that stuff. So, oh man, if my mother can't find a bride, I didn't want to be a bachelor. So next day I left and started my company secretaryship. And that was the first brush I had with law, like company law and shares, and absolutely. Few years after that, we had that Harshad Mehta Kand, and I don't know, many of you will know what the situation was then, right? It was scary, right? The markets had tanked, there were no jobs there, and things like that. But that is how, and then I got interest in law, and I would say I came into the law profession really by accident, and because of the blessings of my mother, right? Otherwise, I was born to be a chef. And still, that is the first passion I share, right? So having said that, after that, I thought I never looked back, right? Because I did quite a bit of development, and leave aside the personal side, because a lot of the personal developments that you undergo is a reflection of what you think about your job. And I can tell you, looking back, that I'm proud that I chose this profession, right? And I'm proud to be part of the Tata Group as well, because I'm what kind of the experience that came forward to me basically was that whatever you may be successful, success may change your life, right? But at the end of it, you cannot change what you are inside you, right? And at the end of it, I think what counts is your relationship, what counts is your humbleness, and also the values that you stand for. So during my early career, life of my career, a lot of the companies that I worked for was small businesses, right? And as a professional, I was always conflicted. As Pras said, how much close you should be to the business, because as a professional, you have a duty to perform, right? And I still can't forget one of the lessons, the essence of what I got when I passed my company secretary. They said, okay, boss, you guys, and this is the end of the training. After you complete your company secretary, you undergo something what is called as the SMTP, which kind of is the coronation ceremony, which gives you that award or that tagma of CS, right? So the essence of what they told us is, boss, you have learned what you have in the books, but at the end of it, think that you are a Draupadi in a company, right? You won't choose your husbands, but you have to still serve them, right? So many of the things in life will come to you which are completely out of your control, right? You just have to make the best use of it, right? So that is probably what I thought kind of transformed me maybe from a company secretary to a GC, right? Because that is where I started learning teamwork, I started learning the purpose of legal, the purpose of law, and those are the essence, those are the nuggets of knowledge that, or the experience that really led me to my first actually introduction of a real GC in terms of what the real role of a GC would be. And my career has since